Forget everything that you think you know about the chop, and you are going to want to make this recipe. That is 100% for sure. This will be about the best chop you've ever made in your life, and it is all going to start with 2 bone-in chops. These are about 1 inch thick. I really like to go about 1.5 inches or so. Get plenty of fresh cracked black pepper on them, a little salt on them. Now let's take these bad boys and cook them live. So as always, we will start this cookout with a little bit of oil down. And we did have some rain blow through on the last cook, so my griddle got a little bit of wet. She can handle it. Now I've had all 4 burners lit up probably for about, I'd say a good solid 10 minutes. We should be good to go. I don't want to keep you guys here any longer than need be. And we are about 360. That is going to be good enough to get us started with the onions down. I want that up a little bit higher for the chops. And of course, we got to get a little bit of butter down on those onions. You want a good griddle temperature. We are right at about 410. That is going to be good enough. You want to be up into that, I'd say 410 to 450. You want to get a good 3-minute sear on the chops, and then we are going to flip it. This is going to be a 1 flip chop. And you want to definitely hear that nice sizzle. And you want to definitely hear that nice sizzle. And again, we are going to be 3 solid minutes here. I prefer the bone in on the chops. The only thing with the bone in, after you flip it, you're going to want to put a weight on it because they tend to curl up. I am telling you, I've been making this recipe. Those who follow me over at the GALLERYBBQ probably have seen this recipe, but I've been making this recipe for 35 years. That is probably 35 plus years. As I also probably said in the opening, forget everything you think you know about chops. This is by far the best recipe you ever made. If you do decide to make it, I can guarantee you that. You don't want necessarily a fried onion. You want to bring these up a little bit more slow. I'm going to actually lower my temp on this side of the griddle. This is going to not necessarily be a caramelized onion, but kind of similar. It is going to probably take us, you're going to be about 15-20 minutes short. We are looking at about 15 minutes to get these onions cooked properly, and about 6 minutes or so for the chops. Alrighty, so that is our 3-minute timer. Let's give these a flip. So again, after the flip, you're going to want to maybe put just put a cover on them just so they maintain temperature with that griddle. That is, maintain contact with that griddle. So these onions are definitely looking nice. If the camera is getting that, they are just coming up nice and slow. And the reason you want to bring the onions up slow, and we don't start building we're going to build the sauce within these onions. We cannot do that over here because we want all that goodness that is under these chops as we move the onions over to where the chops were, and then we'll deglaze the griddle and just start building some pretty amazing flavors, I got to tell you. Alrighty, so it's been about 8 or 9 minutes or so, so I've let these go a little bit longer. And we are 130. Yeah, we're pretty good. So what I am going to do is I am going to take these chops off, get them on a plate. You definitely want to get them off on a plate because you want all that goodness that is going to come off the plate, all the drippings, and you'll see that in a bit. All right, and this is where we start doing a little bit of cooking and have some fun. We will move these onions right to the center here. Let's start deglazing. Now this is a cup here. We're not going to use all that in the beginning because I don't want to lose it. So I'm just going to put a little bit down. and it'll evaporate and help build this sauce. And of course we are deglazing that griddle, get all that goodness up. We will hit it with a little bit of red wine vinegar. And basically from this point on, you are just going to just allow it to cook down. Like I said in the beginning, it's going to take about, you know, a good solid 10 minutes to get this to where we need it to be. I mean, this is one of those recipes that you just can't rush, and I am telling you, man, the payoff is friggin' awesome. And as this starts to evaporate, just hit it with a little bit more. And again, like I said, we are building flavor. Now, if I was in the kitchen in on a saute pan, I would probably pour 3/4 of that chicken stock in, and that way it'll just evaporate that way. But because we are on the griddle, we don't want to lose it, so it is going to take just a little bit more time. Let's add our next ingredient in. That is going to be a little bit of tomato paste. And my griddle is the perfect temperature right now. We are probably about 325. And this is starting to thicken up quite nicely. I do have a slurry over there on standby. If I need to thicken this up at the end, I will. Next ingredient going in is going to be a little bit of Dijon mustard. I am telling you guys, stick with this recipe, man. It is friggin' killer. I must have made this 30, 40 times over the past 35 years. And I've had a couple people on the channel, on my other channel, make this, and the feedback has just been tremendous. Once you make this recipe, there's no going back. I don't care, you want to put it on the kettle, you know, under the broiler, frying pan, bread it, I don't really care what you do to it. It is not going to beat the flavors of this recipe. And of course, how could we forget the white wine? That is probably your one ingredient at the saute station at any restaurant that is, you know, any good restaurant anyway, that is used mostly is going to be that white wine, as it just is tremendous things. I mean, even the smell coming off the griddle now with that wine, I mean, I don't like to drink it too much, but I'll tell you, I love to cook with it. And now we are really coming together, man. That is, it's almost like a gravy. It's almost like a Sunday gravy. Chops go back on. And of course, all that good juice goes right in there. Oh. Of it, I'm going to fire my griddle down, as that looks pretty good. If you need to add a little bit of chicken stock in there to thin it out, please do. If you need slurry in there to thicken it up, please do. I don't need any of that. This is looking perfect, man. What I want to do here, let me get all this stuff to the board. Let's plate it up, do that taste test, talk about it, and close out the show. All right, guys, look, I am not sure how this looks on camera. I mean, there's really not a lot of color in this dish here, but I am telling you, man, it is packed with flavor, and it is going to be one of the heartiest pork chops that you've ever had in your life. And of course, you know, we're perfectly cooked. It is juicy as juicy could be. I mean, pork chops is one of those, you know, pork chops is one of those things that you can do on the griddle, man, that it just remains juicy. The whole trick with a good pork chop is, it has to be dry going on the griddle. You don't want to put a wet pork chop on the griddle. And also you want it at room temperature, and then, you know, get your salt, your pepper on whatever it is. But if you're dry, your room temperature, and also you want to be close to that 400, 4¼ because you want to do a nice tight sear on it. And here we go. This is hearty as hearty can be. Wow. Guys, I'm telling you, and a few people have made this. This is the best pork chop that you can ever make. I don't care, man. It is beyond restaurant quality, man. It has so much friggin' flavor in there with the vinegars, the pepper, you know, just everything. The white wine, the onions, the tomato paste. I am telling you, man, it just all comes together. When you deglaze that griddle, you pack so much friggin' flavor into that onion. And again, the pork chops are perfectly cooked. If you put all that together, this is friggin' just an amazing dish. It is probably, it's one of those, you know, 3-4 dishes that I've been making for 35, 40 years. The Goya is another one, you know, besides peanut butter and jelly and all that jazz. As far as restaurant quality stuff goes, this is one to put in your back pocket. This is one you definitely gotta make. Alrighty, so look, that is gonna close out this show here. My name is Tommy. I guess that makes me the Griddler. These chops are gonna be a must make. You are gonna put these on the list for sure. And if there is anything you guys want to see, leave it down in the description. We are knocking them out 2 a week. And I got to tell you, so far, so good. I am definitely digging cooking on the griddle. I mean, there's just so much stuff that you can, do, so many recipes that you can invent. And we are going to go through them over the next couple of years. There is no doubt about it. Again, my name is Tommy. I appreciate all you for watching. And until next time, we will see you